An early look at the Week 4 waiver wire right now on Fantasy Football Today Express. Hello, everyone. Adam Aizer here with Jamey Eisenberg. Jamey writes the waiver wire column every week, so you should look at that at cbssports.com/fantasy/football. And who is the headliner this week for Week 4 waivers?
The headliner, I guess, would be the receivers, just knowing that we have some injuries at that position. I wish there was a running back that you could find. Now, obviously, if you don't play on CBS, the first thing you should look for is Trey Benson. He's 81% rostered on our site, so he's not going to be available in a lot of leagues. But I'm going to guess on Yahoo and ESPN and some other places where you play, you might be able to find him there. And in a 10-team league, he would be the number one guy to add. But at the running back position, is just not great. So it's a good week for those mid-tier receivers again. Hopefully, they don't disappoint us. There's a couple of tight ends that could pop, and there's a couple of quarterbacks. But running back is just unfortunately, despite the fact that we lose James Conner and Najee Harris for the season, and Tyrone Tracy for an extended period of time, there's not a lot of great long-term options.
Well, if you're in an ESPN or a Yahoo league, Trey Benson's rostered in about 55% of leagues.
Go get him.
Go get him, and should be 100% added by the end of the week. Okay, so quarterback. I think you said there were some good quarterback options for Week 4.
There's some interesting quarterback options. Again, I don't know how many people are going to trust them. Now, I will say if we find out before Tuesday night waivers run that Jaden Daniels is out, Marcus Mariota will be my number one quarterback tag. I put him second just because of the uncertainty. I'm sorry, no, I do have him first. Excuse me. I would make him the priority. Geno Smith, however, is the one that's the safest to go get if we have some uncertainty because he just has a dream matchup this week against the Bears. And coming off a game where he threw for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns, I would say he's a number one quarterback for Week 4 if you need a quarterback for this week.
So Geno Smith going up against the Chicago Bears. That's the Bears and the Cowboys, I think, are going to be two teams that we are constantly targeting. Obviously, Jackson Dart looks like he's going to be, well, I shouldn't say that, but feels like the writing is on the wall. So that's a 2 QB league kind of situation there. But take a look at Geno Smith and Marcus Mariota. Okay, great. Running backs. Anything? Is there anything at running back other than Trey Benson in shallow leagues?
So there's some guys I think that are worth stashing. I have as the first running back to go get because of this, Tyjae Spears. He's 1 week away from being eligible to return. And I think just given what his expectations were in the preseason before the injury, sharing time with Tony Pollard, I'd like to see what happens there when he's healthy. Woody Marks played the most snaps so far of the season for him. Dario Gumbawale did not play at all offensively for the Texans. And so Nick Chubb, the snap counts were 33 snaps for Chubb, 30 snaps for Marks. And maybe we're starting to see the Texans realizing that they need to get a little bit more life back there. So that's somebody that I would pick up and stash. If you're looking at the Commanders' backfield, it's a mess because we don't know who's going to be the lead guy. But Chris Rodriguez, after being inactive for the first 2 games of the season, was the starter. He did not run well. He had 11 carries for 39 yards. He had no targets. Jeremy McNichols did not have a great game aside from a very nice 60-yard touchdown run. It was a 60-yard touchdown run. It's the first run of that distance, his longest run, for a touchdown since, can you name the player? It was 2019 for the Washington Commanders, who had the previous longest touchdown run for Washington.
Oh, my. Ooh. No, I just can't.
Longest touchdown run for a Commanders player since Steven Sims in 2019.
Yeah, was not going to get that.
No. So McNichols did some nice things, but he played the fewest snaps of the Commanders' backfield. And then there's obviously Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who scored a touchdown, but did not play more. Played the most snaps, but he was behind Chris Rodriguez. So I hope he's the one that ascends and is the guy. But for right now, I'd pick up Rodriguez if you're just looking for somebody. Then, just a handful of guys I think that are worth stashing. Ollie Gordon. Nice job against Buffalo. Blake Corum, he's got 97 yards on 13 carries in the last 2 games for the Rams, and obviously is an injury away from becoming a must-start running back. Maybe a flex if you're stuck. I thought Braylon Allen bounced back last week, or this past week after a disappointing week 2, but really the entire Jets backfield was a disappointment in week 2. And Allen gets the favorable schedule. We talked about this on the Sunday night show. He gets Miami and Dallas in the next 2 weeks. So if he continues to get maybe 8 to 10 total carries, he could be a flex in deeper leagues, and there's a lottery ticket waiting to happen. Miles Sanders, I think, is worth stashing. Kyle Monangai, worth stashing. Taj Brooks, now with Samaje Perine banged up, worth stashing. And maybe the Bengals have to do something to, inject some life into their backfield. And then Kendre Miller is somebody that if the Saints decide to go younger or maybe make a trade, you want to have him on your bench just because he's getting some work behind Alvin Kamara.
Did you mention Kareem Hunt?
Oh, I did not. I meant to put him in there. Thank you for reminding me that. Kareem Hunt needs to be on the list too.
Yeah, he's 62% rostered.
Correct.
You
I
need him
I
to
looked at
score.
that and I forgot to add him.
Yeah, you need him to score to pay off, but he's going to be their goal line back. I would assume most of the goal line carries. They've only had one this year. It went to him and he scored. So Kareem Hunt, yay. Pacheco, you suck. Okay, so anyway.
He ran well last night, though.
He was fine. He wasn't that good considering the competition. Okay, how about wide receiver? Tell me after this break on FFT Express the wide receivers we need to get. We'll be right back. We are back. All right, wide receiver priorities.
So I would start with Ayomanor. 38% rostered, touchdown each of the last 2 games. Titans right now looking for help in the passing game. Obviously, Calvin Ridley's not getting the job done. I think he'll start to get better, but I'd like to roster Ayomanor. Trey Tucker would be next. 17 targets in the last 2 games. Week 2 was a disaster. Week 3 was amazing with 145 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. You'll get something in between, hopefully, but he also gets that dream matchup against the Bears. So if you're stuck for a flex play this week, it might not be a bad idea to throw Tucker in there based on what he did. Luther Burden, playing time starting to uptick a little bit more. Got a big touchdown in that game against the Cowboys. Again, it was Dallas, but somebody worth stashing. Jalen Coker, worth stashing. He's a game away from returning, and we see this Panthers receiving core right now. Xavier Legette. I'm curious what they'll do if Legette is still out and Coker comes back. Did they put Coker on the outside or they put Coker back in the slot and move Hunter Renfrow around? So it's curious to see what's going to happen there, but hopefully more opportunities. Torrey Horton has scored now 2 touchdowns in his last 3 games. So 2 touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah.
The volume is an issue, but he's starting to make some plays there. And then there are a couple of veterans just worth stashing, I think. Christian Kirk, I don't think you want to judge him just based on that game, but hopefully start to make some plays a little more. That was really more for you. Brandon Ayuk is, getting closer to a return. So stash him, especially if you have an IR spot. And the last one I'll mention is Tyquan Thornton. We expect Xavier Worthy to play this week, but Thornton right now has made some big plays for the Chiefs, and it seems like he's the guy you want to have on your team instead of Marquise Brown.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well, and he's obviously a deep threat, and he gets pretty much all of their deep targets. Tyquan Thornton came close to having a massive game yesterday, just missed a touchdown. He already had 1 touchdown. All right, tight ends. Jake Ferguson is more than 80% rostered with CeeDee Lamb. With the news of CeeDee Lamb, obviously Ferguson would be a must-add. If you see him, he's 86% rostered, and he's actually more than 80% rostered in both ESPN and Yahoo leagues. It's really weird. I can't tell, why Trey Benson and Jake Ferguson, for example, have similar roster percentages on CBS. I don't know why one of them is so rostered on ESPN and Yahoo and and the other one is not. Anyway, who are the tight ends to get?
Hunter Henry, 2 of 3 games have been really solid, obviously coming off the 2 touchdown game that he had against the Steelers this week. So he's going to be back in the streaming conversation as a starting fantasy tight end. Brenton Strange, with what's going on right now with the Jaguars. Danny Brown got banged up, but Brian Thomas is having a hard time catching the football at this point. Travis Hunter is not a factor at all. And so Strange should be added. And Chingo Conko, back-to-back good games for him. So somebody worth keeping an eye on. A couple injury replacements just in case you're looking deeper leagues. Colston Loveland, if he's out, maybe that opens things up for Cole Kmet. And we saw last year, especially if Godwin does not return, in the 4 games that Evans and Godwin were out, K. Dotton stepped up and played a big role for the Bucs. So just keep an eye on him. Tough matchup, though, against the Eagles in week 4.
All right, thank you. That's an early look at the waiver wire. We'll have a lot more for you on tomorrow's edition of Fantasy Football Today. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.